morning to you and welcome to Still Up with 6 on this Monday. We hope everyone had a great weekend and a safe one. I know it was a beautiful weekend to be outdoors, spend some time with the family while you continue to social distance. But we want to say good morning to Chris, who's joining us. We are walking into week 6 now of Chris being home. Hey there, Chris.
Hey there, Heidi. Good morning to you. Yeah, hard to believe it's been 6 weeks. We're returning here with Still Up with 6. The conversation continues. We're here to answer your questions at home today. A lot of what we're going to focus on, I know plenty of you will have stimulus check questions if you still haven't received yours, so drop those in the comments. If you still have things that you're wondering about or possibly unemployment questions, drop those in the comments as well. But today, Heidi, we're talking all about this reopening in phases and the plan with that moving forward.
Yeah, Governor Greg Abbott's expected to address the public for a press conference at 2:30 this afternoon. We are expecting the next guidelines and decisions to be put into place in regards to reopening the state. We know that he is going to do this county by county, depending on each county's numbers and how they're handling COVID-19. That's what he's mentioned in various press conferences. We know that different leaders and mayors in West Texas have reached out to the governor, telling him exactly what they have in place going on right now. But I think the whole state is getting ready to hear what the governor has to say so that we can get one step forward into the reopening process. This, of course, comes after Friday's big retail to-go opening was officially announced and put into place. Today, we're going to be learning more about what exactly that means for retailers and when we can expect other places to open.
Yeah, certainly a lot of development since we last checked in with people. And Heidi, I think a lot of this urge to reopen and the growing frustration comes from, we are seeing a decline in numbers. Now, health experts do point that that doesn't necessarily mean we can just go ahead and get things right back to normal. But if you want to give us an update on the latest cases locally, you can see that there has been a decline in the number of cases, which means that the steps that we've implemented are working.
Yeah, but I think that a lot of people are still calling for social distancing. I know top health officials are saying that we should continue social distancing throughout the summer. That was our talker of the day, actually asking people if they think we should. And a majority said, yeah, they do think we should continue to social distance. And I'm all for it. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we don't reopen the state and the country. That just means we keep some certain guidelines in place to assure and make sure that we are protecting ourselves from a second wave of COVID-19 cases.
Yeah, absolutely, Heidi, and you can see those numbers that we popped up for you on your screen showing a little bit of a decline, so a flattening of a curve, so that's very encouraging. Now, I did get some people following up with me over the weekend saying they had figured out some of the errors and the problems they were experiencing with the IRS Track My Stimulus Check tool, so that was encouraging. But if you have stimulus check questions, if you still haven't received yours and you're wondering if you will, make sure that you get those questions asked right now, because we are here for the next 10 minutes or so answering your questions and making sure that you guys have the things that you need to know to start your day. So I'll be looking for those in the comments. But I do want to talk about Verify today, Heidi. Throughout this entire pandemic, we've seen so many different viral posts making the rounds on social media about DIY coronavirus prevention techniques, and so we verified 2 of the latest ones this morning. The first being lemon water was being touted as a way to prevent the coronavirus, but our experts said there's no evidence that that's true. Also, this has been kind of making the rounds in various different forms, but there has been people that are claiming that blow drying your nostrils with that heat will kill the virus. Also not true. We're getting that from top health experts as well as the WHO and the CDC. So these are some of the claims that are making the rounds right now online, being shared hundreds of thousands of times on different social media feeds, and a lot of these can end up being potentially dangerous to you in the long run.
And I know that you've been getting for the past couple of weeks questions about the stimulus checks, questions about stay-at-home orders, questions about other different claims. But it's really important that you address these claims as well, because like Chris just mentioned, they could be very dangerous, especially if you try them at home before you even verify if they work. So keep that in mind. And if you have any remedies to cure the coronavirus that you're seeing online, be sure to get those verified, because right now there's no cure, there's no vaccine. They're still working on that. And some of the remedies that will prevent you from getting it simply don't work and can just put you at more harm.
Yeah, absolutely, Heidi, and I think that a lot of this frustration comes that we haven't really maneuvered anything, at least in our lifetimes, that we don't have an answer to. So that's something that people are trying to come up with their own solutions, and you know, understandably so. But if you come up with solutions that simply don't work or could put people in danger, and then share them and tout them as potential answers for this, it's just going to be damaging to people in the long run. Let's answer some questions this morning. This is coming from Melissa, who says, "Morning. When I check, it says payment status is unavailable. I filed in 2018, but not in 2019 because I had no income. Why hasn't my status updated my payment?" Melissa, if you didn't file in 2019, they will take your 2018 information. Now, if you filed through the mail, you know, the checks could still be on the way. The majority of the check coming through the mail should get there in May. So right now, my guess is that you're getting a mailed check, a paper check, and that would be the reason that it says that you still haven't received it, or it says it's unavailable. There's an article on our website right now that has a couple different tips for people who are receiving those types of messages.
Yeah, and like Chris mentioned, you know, in early May is when those next round of paper checks are expected to go out. We saw last week one round had already come out, but expect them in early May. So just stay patient. Your check is on the way. Your direct deposit's on the way. Again, they said it could be a 5-month process to get everyone their money distributed. So just be patient and know that it's on its way.
Yeah, and I want to address something else in terms of stimulus and acts with people getting money. There have been a lot of questions that I keep getting, and a number of different people over the weekend asked me the same question. People have been seeing this this news that potentially there could be the possibility of $2,000 a month for people until we get through this pandemic. That is just a bill that was proposed by the Democrats, and of course we know that the Senate is Republican majority, so that is just a bill. It was a proposal for a bill that will most likely get shot down. That shouldn't be the case. The high probability is that'll get shot down in the Senate. So for people who got their hopes up a little bit thinking they would get $2,000 a month, that doesn't seem like a feasible possibility right now. And that's just something that I wanted to address because I got it a number of different times in my inbox over the weekend.
Devana says, what time will Abbott be speaking? He will be speaking at 2:30 this afternoon. We will have that streaming on our website, on our Facebook page, our Twitter page, our YouTube page, as well as on our 6 News app. So be sure you download that as well. And we'll be sure to keep you updated on everything that Governor Abbott has to say in terms of reopening the state of Texas. Again, 2:30 this afternoon.
Yeah, good morning to you, Michelle. Jason saying our 2018 was mailed in, but 19 was done at H&R Online. Still nothing. I would be patient. I mean, it depends on when you filed that tax return, Jason, and I would check with the folks at H&R to make sure that process as well. But if you mailed it in 2018 and you only filed it recently, potentially they could have taken your 2019 or 2018 information, and you could be expecting a mailed check.
Melissa's asking if we know there's going to be an extended shelter in place. We don't know about that. We're going to have to all wait together. We don't have any additional information on that or any insider information on that. That's just something that the governor will announce, and I assume he'll touch on that later today as he begins to put more guidelines into reopening the state. That comes with what that means for shelter in place. I'm sure he's going to get a lot of questions about that, but we'll keep you updated. So be sure to just download our news app and our 6 News app, and we will send you a push notification as soon as the governor starts speaking with the updates as well.
Yeah, and Melissa's kind of asking a question about a change of address. So I've gotten that a number of different times as well. How do you know that we have had it here on the show, where people are asking about if their address has changed since they filed their taxes, or potentially if their bank information has changed. Remember, on the IRS website, there is a tool that you can use, and you can go in there and update all your latest information. So you can put that new address in, you can put new direct deposit information in if that's what you choose to do, and I would urge you to do that sooner rather than later to make sure that you get your stimulus check on time. But if you have had a change of address, there's a good way to do that. Just log right in. It makes it pretty simple, gives you a step-by-step, and you can update that information there.
And I know you mentioned earlier that a lot of people are finding ways to get through the IRS tracker website. I know a lot of people have had problems. I think that the IRS themselves are trying to fix it on their end as well. It's a whole system that's new, right? This was something that wasn't planned for, this whole thing, COVID-19, the checks, all of it. So I think everyone's just trying to navigate through it day by day, but your check or your direct deposit is on the way.
Yeah, and I know there's been a lot of different frustrations. A lot of people getting payment or status not available. Some people saying that they get locked out after trying to update their information. And I know that those kind of frustrations can be really trying for people. But we urge you, if you get locked out, be patient, try it again. Make sure that when you're submitting your information, all of it is correct and you didn't have any typos in there or mistype something or abbreviate something that shouldn't have been abbreviated or didn't abbreviate something that should have been abbreviated. It's very important you do that so you can make sure you get your check on time.
Alex is asking, has anyone received a paper check from the April 24th batch? I personally don't know anybody who has. Chris, do you know anybody who has so far?
No, but I haven't been checking with people that I know about paper checks, but I can tell you this, the April 24th batch, maybe people would start receiving it today, tomorrow, potentially, but you have to remember that if they were mailed out on April 24th, you still got to give it a couple days to get there. I mean, this is not priority mail express shipping. This is just the traditional mailing system, so I would give it at least 3 to 5 days for people to start receiving them from the April 24th batch. So I would potentially think that people would start seeing them this week from that first batch, but the majority, as we said, will receive them in early May. That's
a good point. Yeah, I think that's another reason to be patient, right? You got to remember, if you are getting a mail check, it takes time to get it mailed to you. It's not going to happen express or overnight. So, and then Michelle saying, my daughter got her Friday. So Michelle saying she already got a paper check, and so did Dorina, received a paper check from the 424 batch. That's awesome. And then Kimberly says, I got mine early though.
Oh, great. So I'm happy to see that people are starting to receive their checks, and more of you will receive them in the coming days for mail checks. But that's good to see that the first round seems to be successful. We've got some viewers here in our area that have already received their stimulus check from that first round of mailed check. And, of course, remember, we do remind you that this is in waves, so the rest of you will receive them in the coming days, in the coming weeks as well. But I'm glad to see that a couple of our viewers are receiving the stimulus check and some much-needed relief, I'm sure, for plenty of them. So thanks for weighing in and letting us know, because Alex had asked that question. We didn't know anyone personally, but it looks like a couple of you have, so that's some good perspective this morning.
Yeah, especially because those checks actually wasn't just it wasn't the April 24th batch. It was actually all week long last week, that they started on Monday and ended on Friday. So it was a whole week thing. That's why it's going to come in waves. That's another reason. So stay patient, but good to see that some people are getting the relief that they need here.
Yeah, and happy Monday, everyone. Let's have a great week. We do have to wrap things up here on the show, but remember, if you have a question you want verified from me, crogers2@kcntv.com is the email address, and I will continue to answer your questions, whether it's about DIY remedies and the coronavirus, whether it's about the illness itself, whether it's about your stimulus checks, or any of the proposals and bills that we've seen our lawmakers discussing. I'm here to answer your questions 24/7. We want to thank you all for weighing in this morning, giving us your perspectives, joining us this morning, and we remind you to stay healthy.
That's right, and don't worry if we didn't get to your question today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow on Still Up with 6. We're answering much more questions, so we'll see you guys then. Until then, have a great day.